So if it's inspired by the Bible, that means every previous revelation of the Bible came before the Quran. It is absolutely true. You know what I'm saying? And I don't agree with a lot of the Jews either. The only reason I stand with them is my Bible tells me I have to. But the fact that they don't believe in Jesus Christ, when in Isaiah 53 it absolutely tells you who Jesus Christ is in Isaiah 53. But okay, hold on a minute, please. Let me speak, please. We're talking about the economy. Okay, let me explain it to you like this. Tariffs. We are a country of tariffs. We have more history and tradition with tariffs than we do with taxes. Okay, the taxes were only supposed to be here for the war. That was supposed to be it. The Fed was only supposed to be here for the war, and that was it.
Yeah, they didn't foresee what needed to be done in the future.
Nothing needed to be done with taxes. Okay, the best country we ever had in the history of time is when we ran under tariffs, and let me explain why. The moment we got rid of tariffs, all of our manufacturing left our country. Okay, this truck, I'm going to use this truck as a big example. Okay, this truck is from 1999. I have 952,000 miles on this truck. Every single part that comes off of this truck says grade A steel, made in America.
Yeah.
Okay. Lasted me for 900,000 miles.
Yeah.
Every part that I put on it says made in China, made out of plastic and aluminum. I've replaced 5 tensioner belt pulleys in 2 months on this truck. Okay, so you place tariffs. We already knew things are going to probably for about 6 months. Things are going to get kind of bad. Okay, we're going to have products that we can't get because we have to start producing them here again, which people are already doing. Like Tyson Foods just said, by the end of the month they will have 1,000 new manufacturing plants for all of that stuff back in America.
Who will?
Tyson Foods. Tyson Foods is investing billions of dollars to bring all of their companies back to America right now. So here's how tariffs help the economy. Manufacturing starts coming back here. So say you need steel. It might cost a little more, but
a little more. That T-shirt you're wearing. Let's say, I don't know where it was made. Let me just say it was made in Vietnam. Okay. If it was made in Vietnam, you paid $20 for it at Walmart.
I don't care about the price.
Here's what happens. This
shirt lasts me for 2 weeks. When I can buy an American-made shirt, and it'll last me for 5 years.
Right? So it's made from the same material.
They're not made from the same material.
Twice as much.
But
where do you get the material from?
Okay, listen. Please. Listen, just let me finish this point right here. Okay, if I can buy the material from America, made in America, by the citizens of my country, which created billions of dollars worth of jobs because we brought more manufacturing back.
I don't disagree with that.
You know, so that means people can work, people can make money, a lot more money. They're going to end taxes on overtime. They're going to end taxes on tips. They're going to end taxes on all kinds of stuff. So there's more money in your pocket.
But who's going to fill those jobs? Okay, because unemployment was under 4%.
Do you understand that we have 43 million young Americans right now that refuse to work? You understand that?
That's not my problem. That's not your problem. They're a bunch of idiots.
That's the reason the jobs aren't getting filled.
It's not a problem.
We have plenty of people in this country to fill.
My choice in living with the choice that's given. So
okay, I'm gonna keep it. Can I have my conversation here, please? Thank you. Okay. So let me just continue this point because I have a tumor in my brain and I don't want to lose it. Okay. So we start getting manufacturing back. That's one way. Yep. Okay. The tariffs, the 104% tariff that China now has to pay us, that $1.7 trillion in one shot just took $1.7 trillion right off the bat off of our national debt. We're so far in the national debt right now that our country is going to fail if we don't get it back. Do you know what I mean?
Agree.
Do you know how many companies left America in the past 4 years because of oil manufacturing? We have so much oil here, it's not even funny.
And oil companies don't pay taxes. Oil companies don't pay taxes. They should pay fucking taxes.
Guess what, though? You know why we have to pay a tax on oil? Because we get it from another country and they tariff us at 75%. So we have to pay that tax. So now that we have oil coming back to our company, that'll end gas tax, buddy. That'll create jobs for our country. We won't have to buy a pack of shirts every month and spend $20 a month when we can spend $40 one time and have those shirts for 5 years. You know what I mean? That's how people have to look at it. Okay, yes, there's always growing pains.
Okay, so I just saw something.
Oh, that's a meme, dude. Really, you take that seriously?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
That's the thing, though.
I don't, because Trump wants a third term.
No, people are begging him to. Do you know that the American people, there are 87 million petitions online right now. People are trying to get other people to sign for Trump to get a third term. And there was one instance of a third term, and that's when we ended third terms with presidents. You know what I mean? So here's what you guys have to understand. Donald Trump Jr. is running in 2024. So when they make the joke that Trump is running in 2028, that's literally the inside joke about it. I was sitting in the room when they were talking about it down here at the Republican Executive Committee. Okay. So that's the inside joke, and everybody's taking it seriously. You know, he was on The View. You mentioned the with the incident when he was on The View when he said, I'd be a dictator for a day. The lady looks at him and she says, so are you going to be a dictator? And he rolls his eyes and he goes, oh yeah, I'm going to be a dictator for one whole day. And you know what he meant by that? He's going to sign more executive orders than you've ever seen.
Video. It wasn't on The View. He said it. It wasn't on The View. He said it in a speech. I'll be a dictator for the first day.
That's not how it happened. Hold on.
No.
I'll pull it up for you.
No, wait a minute. It turns out that what he really meant was
the executive orders.
Executive orders.
It's the executive orders.
But every president does executive orders.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's talking about the deportations and the executive orders. Obama they called him the deporter-in-chief. He deported more people than any other president ever has. He's the leader in deportations in America.
But
he's the one who built the cages.
But
Obama built the cages.
Not for children.
Oh my, are you serious?
Not for
I
children.
worked on the border and saw it.
Oh my God.
I've got videos of it. That's what kills me about this. Obama literally built the cages, and yes, they had families in it. Even Michael Moore took videos of this back in 2008 when he used to talk shit about Obama, and then all of a sudden, listen, everybody loved Trump until he became a Republican. Think about that. They've been begging him to run for president since 1980. He was on The View with Whoopi Goldberg when they first started the show, and they were begging him to run for president. And he said, from the speech he gave that day back in the 70s and 80s to the speech he gives today are exactly the same. He's been consistent at everything he said he was going to do.
You know why?
He released
because of
more.
his respect.
He released more people from incarceration that were unconstitutionally incarcerated in his first term than anyone ever did. Okay, our GDP went down more than it's gone down in a while. I'm not going to say it was the best GDP we've ever had, but our GDP was what 4.0 when he got out, and it went. You can look at the GDP. You can see it from Bush. You can see it wobble. You can see everything wobble. You can see it wobble, and then you can see Biden, boom, it goes like this, and then it goes over, and then it goes down, then it goes up, then it goes like this. You know what I'm saying? But the largest spikes that we've ever had are under Democrats, and nobody's even looking at that because everybody hates Donald Trump so much.
You're reading it backwards.
I'm not reading it backwards.
You're reading it backwards because the economy has traditionally done better under Democrats.
Never.
However, wait,
every Democrat we've had at $4 or plus gas. Every single Democrat.
Let me finish. Okay, so I grew up. I joined the Marine Corps in '76. All right. And Carter had just been elected president.
I grew up an anarchist and a Democrat, by the way. I grew up an anarchist and a Democrat.
Okay. No, let me finish. Okay, but I've been tracking it. Under Carter, the economy tanked. Okay.
Jimmy Carter, absolutely.
And then
Jimmy Carter. Come on.
Reagan was a good president.
Reagan was a good president, but he started all this bullshit with the border. He started all this stuff with the border. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then when the first Bush came in, he didn't do so well. Clinton
didn't do shit.
When Clinton, whether you like him or not, when Clinton left government, there was a surplus. We had money in the bank. And what did W do? He gave it back. Now, I cashed my checks, okay? But he gave that money back to us, right? Right? And then...
Can I pop in on that right there?
Yeah.
Okay, just 2 weeks ago, they had 2,800 people down here protesting how Donald Trump fucked the stock market. 2 days later, they were richer than they've ever been to the stock market.
Yeah, see, my 401k hasn't reflected that.
Your 401k is a private banking entity.
There you go.
No, it is.
You pay into a private
Based
company.
on the
There you
stock
go.
market.
No, you pay into you pay
Yeah,
out
I
of
do.
your
I
paycheck
pay, right.
a 401k to a private bank.
I know that.
Through a
I know what
company.
that is. I know, but
They-
that doesn't mean
the
it's
stock-
not based on the stock
No,
market.
it's based off the company's stock, but that
But
bank
that's
still.
all based
What
on
y'all
the
don't understand
economy.
though is you paid that money,
don't
and
walk
they
away.
have to give you that money.
They
You're
don't
not
walk
going to
away.
lose even if the
thinking,
bank.
can it be good?
Hey man, can I talk, please?
Yeah, you're
you
right.
keep talking over. Please let me talk. I don't need a cheering section. Okay, I have a brain tumor and I can't think right when I'm talking to three people.
Shit.
Okay,
Don't hold me down.
but
Just tell me,
listen,
let me talk.
if they lose their stock, then they have to file bankruptcy and pay every one of you out. That's what y'all aren't understanding. You paid that. Otherwise, they would be stealing your money. That's the 401k is not owned by the government. Okay,
Oh, I know that.
It's owned by private entities
Yeah.
of a business.
Well, guess what?
And those businesses have stocks that run their businesses, which have investors.
That's what they
okay?
want.
So those investors
That's
invest
what they
into
want.
those stocks.
The
That
business
doesn't
is-
change your 401k.
That's what they
You know what changes? The only way your 401k changes is if
you
your
get
company has a price match
What
or
about
a dividend divide. When that dividend
Your
divide,
401k changes based on what the stock market is doing, because I won't. Now listen, I think you'll agree with this. The stock market is all about what people think. It's all about what people feel.
well, it's about what the politicians say.
That has something to do with it.
Because
yes.
the politicians dictate
Right.
the business that happens through the stock market.
Right.
You know what I'm
The
saying?
politicians basically, especially the president,
He mad because somebody else gets some-
they say things. They do executive orders. The legislation is created, and the stock market reacts because that's how they feel. That's how the stock market.
You know you can
works.
cash your 401k out right now if you're scared, right? You can just cash it out.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I have to pay taxes on that money.
Yeah.
all up front.
Well. Next year you won't. Next year you won't. That's another thing. If you're saying it's connected with the stock market and with all that stuff, and people are worried about losing their Social Security and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's gonna be no taxes on that now. That's part of the thing that's in the bill for no taxes. Your 401k, no taxes on retirement. So
Where's that money going to come from to run the government then?
tariffs.
Because
We're giving China 120% tariffs. We're
not if we start manufacturing in this country.
Absolutely, it will, because those companies now pay more into our country. Right now,
Those companies don't pay us. You do know who pays tariffs, right? The people pay
people
tariffs.
from the other countries.
No, the people that are buying the products, they pay the tariffs.
No, we don't.
Yes, they just.
The company pays the tariff as soon as it hits the dock.
Unless you and I are buying from China.
Yeah.
Who pays the? Please, buddy, he's right. Please. The tariffs are paid by the companies that buy the stuff from China.
But
and
there are
India
no
and
tariffs on
whoever.
these companies if they're in America.
Yes, they are. It's a tax at the import section.
There's no
That's-
import section if we have the company in America. If we're manufacturing everything in America and we're pulling the minerals out of our ground, we're not importing it.
You're not letting me finish, okay? If I have a company, I have Ray's manufacturing company,
Yes.
right? And I buy my materials from China.
Yes.
China sends that stuff to me at whatever cost I agree to pay,
Yep.
right? Maybe plus shipping, depends on the contract,
Yep.
right? It hits the border. Before that gets released, I've got to pay that 115% tariff to get it released from oh shit, I'm losing my mind here. I may have you have a tumor
From the Port of
I don't-
Authority.
from Port of
From
right,
Port Authority.
right, from
Yeah.
whoever releases.
I ship
that
a lot of things through the Port of Authority.
Okay,
I
cool.
understand.
So we pay the company that buys that stuff and imports it.
Yeah.
They pay the tariff.
Absolutely.
and that goes to the government.
You mean the billionaires that everybody's bitching about? They have all the money?
I just watched a video last night. This woman buys raw materials from China, so her company in Michigan can build whatever product she's building, and then sell it, right? So if that product used to cost her $1, it now costs her $2.15.
Okay.
Right.
And she's getting a better product. She's getting a better product.
She's not making a better product. She's spending more money for the same materials.
They're not the same materials though. American steel and Chinese steel and American minerals and Chinese minerals are not the same. China purposely puts chemicals in their steel to make it more brittle when they send it over. You know that, right? They've admitted it.
I don't know about that, but okay. So a Chinese.
I've got a Chinese wrench right now and an American wrench. I can break one on the ground. I can't break the other one.
Oh, listen, see this? I owned a Snap-on franchise. I believe in Made in America.
You know what I mean?
Okay, I get it. I get it. I don't have a problem with that. But I believe in Made in America if it's made better. Okay.
Exactly.
But still, if it's made better,
have you actually read the tariff bill? Because there's stipulations about that in the. See, that's the problem. People aren't reading the actual bill. They're listening to what they're hearing on the news. I read the bills. I go to the gov.org, military.org. I read all of these bills. I sat down for 7 days to read this bill because it's so fucking large, bro.
Yeah.
There are stipulations, and you're talking about the taxes. There's stipulations for those taxes. Don't worry. The Port of Authority is going to pay them, not you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the Port of Authority is going to pay those taxes, and then that just goes added to your fee. Do you understand? Your fee to import.
It adds to your cost of the goods.
It does.
Yeah, of course it does.
It does.
So who
but you
pays
shouldn't be doing business with our biggest enemy. That's the point. You should pay more if you're getting it from our enemy.
So let me ask you this.
We shouldn't be doing commerce with China at all.
All right. Well, wait a minute. Okay, so and we're using China because we're using them as a scapegoat.
Honduras,
okay?
then. Honduras. A lot of shirts are made in Honduras. A lot of clothes are made in Honduras.
Okay, that's
you know what
fine.
I'm saying?
Okay,
we can use them.
It doesn't matter if they're being taxed as they're coming in. You call it a tariff, but it's a tax.
You know, tariff works the opposite way, right?
Well,
China has to pay the tariff to send us
China
goods
doesn't
now.
pay the tariff. The tariff.
We're tariffing China 125%.
China.
If they want our product, they have to pay 125%.
No, yeah. Yeah, right. If they want our product, they pay a tariff.
Okay,
they can buy that product.
I want you to hear what you just said. Okay.
Right,
so in order for you to do commerce with China, that means China's also doing commerce with you, correct?
Well, maybe.
So you just asked where that money's going to come from. It's going to come from China's 125% half. That's where it's going to come from.
No, it's not. That all gets paid by the person buying it
No,
from
that gets
China.
split. Have you ever shipped anything to the Port of Authority? I just shipped some dirt bikes last week. It was $50 more is what it cost me. $50 more to send some dirt bikes to Costa Rica.
Okay.
Because we send solar panels and generators to Cuba. We donate them to the people over there. They're going through the war and stuff like that. And which, by the way, we have an embargo with Cuba because of Trump, so they can come here because they're in a war-torn nation.
Have an embargo, except for a little bit of time during Obama. We've had an embargo for Cuba.
You remember,
since the 60s.
DeSantis and Biden said no to Cuba. The Biden administration said no Cubans and no anyone that would vote Republican, basically. You got to admit that happened.
I have recent Cuban immigrants on my street.
Absolutely. And you know what? They're some of the nicest freaking people. They're the cheapest people I've ever worked for. Yeah, they're the cheapest people I've ever worked for, but they're super nice people, man.
The cheapest people I ever worked for were Haitians.
I said it, so I knew. I already knew.
I was running a repair shop, and this kid came in with his Maxima that needed a starter, right? He said, tow it in. He said, fix whatever it needs, right? It needed a starter, right?
Yeah.
I bought the starter locally. I charged him an hour to put it in, and I charged him my normal bump for the part because you got to make profit or you can't warranty it, right? Yeah. His mother lost her mind. Oh my God, this and that, right? She said, take it out and send it back. She said, I will give you a starter, right?
Yeah.
I sent it back to I charged her to take it out. I charged her to put it in. I charged her to take it out. And then she went and bought the same starter I did, gave it back to me, and I installed it. She paid 3 times.
Hey, can you do me a huge favor?
Yeah.
Do you have a cell phone on you?
I do.
Take a picture of my phone number on the back of my truck. I want you to text me as soon as you get a chance, and I'm going to send you some stuff, and I want you to read it, and then I want us to have this conversation again. Because I get it, man. I'm not mad at nobody, except for the people that shot me, poisoned me, cut my dog on fire, burnt my RV to the ground, I used to be the big Trump store that they caught on fire. Every ding and missing window is from violence on the left. Window missing, that done out. I've had my brake lines cut. It says we the people. I just got this on right now.
That's fine. I will tell you.
This goes on and off.
I will tell you the only flag I have a problem with is the one with Trump's face on it. Do not deface my fucking flag with any politician.
No. You don't put anything on an American flag.
Right.
That's against flag etiquette.
Right.
And
I agree.
I make these, by the way, and all my materials are made in America.
Okay.
All my inks are bought in America. I pay a little more for them. This flag has been on here for 9 months. Look at it. You buy one of those Chinese flags from Amazon, it lasts 5 days. You know what I mean? So,
especially if it's on your truck.
Yep, especially if it's on my truck. And are you from here?
I live in Port Charlotte now.
Okay.
I'm from Massachusetts.
How long you been here?
3.5 years.
Oh, okay, so my truck's looked like this for 7 years. I've been on the front page of the paper.
I've seen you before.
I've been on the front page of the paper here 19 times. I don't mind if people...
What's your name?
Josh.
Right.
I don't mind if people stop and talk to me. I don't mind if people... I was ignorant to all this before everything happened, by the way. Before all this stuff started happening to me, I was ignorant to all this. Have you seen the book, White Rule Rage, The End of Democracy?
No.
That's my truck on the front of it. They wrote a whole book about me because I've traveled around. I've gotten over 1,800 pedophiles arrested in the past 3.5 years, right here in the state of Florida. Okay, I've gotten over 275 pornographic books put out of our schools. I'm talking books teaching 9-year-olds how to suck dick and get fucked in the ass. Okay, that's not okay. That's the kind of books they were fighting to keep in our schools. It is bad. Like, I've spoken at over 718 school board meetings around the state of Florida. Okay, for me, it's about one thing and one thing only. It's not about this, it's not about this. It's about the Constitution and the citizens in my community.
So it's not about this?
No, it's about the citizens in my community. I would rather they target me than the people that can't fight for themselves.
I don't think Elon can run for VP.
He can't. He's not going to.
Right.
No, that wouldn't even be a thing.
Yeah.
That's a meme that Donald Trump made on True Social, so just because they fuck with us all the time.
Yeah.
They're talking about deport Elon. He's a South African, and then they call us racist for talking about Africa. Do you not see the hypocrisy? You know what I mean? It's like you're a racist because you don't like Africans. Deport Elon Musk. January 6ers shouldn't get due process. You better give criminal alien gang members due process.
I think January 6ers deserve due process, but they deserve jail time.
Okay, for punching a cop in the face, it's 6 months in jail. Trespassing is a low-class civil misdemeanor offense that 100 people went into tunnels. That was it. The rest of them were 100% peaceful. Okay, I sat in jail for 4 months and I wasn't even there, so I know. Okay, they released me with no booking or nothing. I've been trying to expose that for years now. Okay, over 80. No, I didn't even make it there. They arrested me on the way there. I got held in a cell for 4 fucking months. Over 87,000 people were targeted because of that day. Okay. Some of these people never even went in the building. There were 87-year-old women that sat in jail for 2 years in solitary confinement with no due process whatsoever. And they're American citizens, okay? So if you read the Constitution, the 14th Amendment states you must be a citizen or a naturalized citizen, which means you got asylum through the port of authority, not a green card, not a visa, a naturalized citizen of the United States, because a green card and a visa is a guest pass. You're here as a guest while you're on those, and you have to follow the rules of those guest pass, okay?
So that rule that you mentioned about you can't speak out against, if you're a green card holder, you can't speak out against.
Absolutely.
I think if you do, I think anybody.
Why would we
here,
let a foreigner come to our country and dictate what our policy is? That's like us being able to go to China. Because it's not their country. It's not their opinion. It's not their law. They have no jurisdiction. We can't even put them in our prisons. We have to send them back to their country.
So that takes away their freedom of speech.
They don't have any freedom of speech. It says right in the Constitution, only citizens of the country have protections under the Constitution. The 14th Amendment, the 4th Amendment, the 5th Amendment, and the 10th Amendment straight out say you have to be a citizen to have constitutional rights. That whole human rights thing isn't part of the Constitution. You understand that, right? That was something that James Madison and John Adams got together with Benjamin Franklin, and they ratified that. That was completely separate, though. But the Constitution, this book right here, which I have numerous ones of, okay, numerous ones of, the Constitution of the United States, I've got tons of them, I hand them out to people, states that you have to be a citizen of the United States in order to, for one, vote and have any constitutional rights. Okay, coming to our country is a privilege, it's not a right. Originally, only people from bordering countries and countries that were at war and slaughtering their people were the only ones allowed in our country.
Asylum seekers.
Yep, yeah. Asylum seekers, okay? But the asylum seekers had to be from bordering countries, just like every other country's law does the exact same thing. We're the only country that for the past 4 years have just mass let people in Europe. And now look what's happened in Europe. You have Muslims in the streets killing people and blocking their streets because they let another culture be a part of theirs. Okay, it's very clear. If you want to come to this country, you have to assimilate. You know what the very first sections of the 10 sections of asylum seeking is? One of the very first ones is you must learn to speak English.
I agree.
You can't pass the test if you can't speak English.
Right.
So if you meet someone that can't speak any English at all, they're not a citizen of this country. They can't be because they wouldn't be able to pass the IA.
You can't pass the test. Right.
Exactly. So also in this book, we're not supposed to have cops arresting these people. We're not supposed to have ICE arresting these people. It says right in the Constitution of the United States, the government that's part of the Navy, the Army, and the military is supposed to deputize, fund, and arm the militias to remove invaders of our country. Okay, so I agree 100%. We should not have the military on the streets. We should have the veterans that are trained to do this, that have been in these countries, that know how these people work, out here doing this, because we're the ones that have been keeping up with them. Nobody else has, except for Florida. We left a loophole open in the e-verification bill here that allowed them to get driver's license and tags. That way we knew where they were and who they were. So that's why we allowed that law to happen. We're the only state that did that, though. So when it's time to do deportations here, we know who the ones, like the guy that shot up Walmart last week. You know about that, right?
I was out of town.
Criminal alien Venezuelan gang member. The guy that raped the girl in Inglewood. Criminal alien Venezuelan gang member. Okay, this whole movement of all these guys riding around with the Mexican flags that say "Death to America" on it up the road here with the lowriders, all criminal aliens that think they have the right to dictate our policy. That's a problem. Because if you don't have a culture of your country, one culture, you don't have a country. You know what I mean? So yes, you can come here, you can open a Mexican restaurant. You know what I'm saying? You can do whatever your culture does in your home, but you don't go out and you don't push another country's culture on another country. You just don't. It's not proper etiquette. You know what I mean? We're not saying we want everybody in the country gone. If you're in the country illegally, that's a criminal act under federal code 18 USC, and they have to go. And then if they want to be here, they come the legal way. We have expedited processes. It takes 24 hours.
Well, expedited is a joke.
No. We have expedited. We have a guaranteed clause in the immigration clause that if you are absolutely in a country that you know you're going to die in, 24 hours. They can get in this country in 24 hours. It's called the A12 Act. All they have to do is go on the A12 Act for immigration, and they will send them a free flight and help them come here. But people don't ever talk about that. You know what I mean? Listen, when I say this is all I do now.
So is this so? If that's true, why aren't these people? All these people, not all of them, but a lot of these people have cell phones or have access to a cell phone.
Exactly.
Why aren't they doing it?
Because it's so much.
They don't know about it.
It's so much easier, dude. They made whole videos about it.
How is it easy? How is it easier to do that than to walk from Central or South America through Mexico up to the border?
Because then they don't have to wait on a process. They just come here and they start making money. Do you realize that the majority?
But you just mentioned expedited process.
Yes. Because we can only get so many people in this country at a time. We're so freaking overpopulated in most of our states right now, it's not even funny. We're facing a population crisis because this generation isn't having kids, and then we're facing an overpopulation crisis. You know it cost us $157 billion just last year alone to facilitate these criminal aliens? That's 150. You're asking where that money will come from. That's 157 billion right there. Do you know that they have found over already in 100 days almost like $10 trillion invested in fraud? From all the different places.
No. They've eliminated something like $120 billion, right? But
it was 1.7 trillion right off the bat.
But
with
Musk,
the IRS.
Musk hasn't removed any of his contracts. None of his.
So?
You can't tell me there's no fat in his contract.
Nancy Pelosi's passing laws and going to the stock market. She made $187 million while she was a congresswoman. They get paid $150,000 a year.
I didn't understand that thing you
He's
said.
not a politician. You understand that, right?
No, but the statement you made before.
She was an inside trader. Nobody cared about that. Nobody's arrested her for that. Nobody's said a word about that. Y'all are all cool with that.
Proof.
You know what I mean?
It's all about proof. Take some proof.
She has a $187 million bank account, and she didn't even have $1 million when she became a congressperson. Okay. They make $150,000 a year.
Right.
Okay? You got to admit, that woman can't fucking speak or fucking. I get it. Y'all are hearing all this stuff on the news.
No.
And like I said, listen.
She speaks just fine. She's eloquent. You know, she gets her point across.
Never.
You may not like her.
Show me one way she's gotten her point across. Can you show me something?
Listen to me. Just watch her speeches.
I have. With her teeth falling out and her junk is a motherfucker and her not making any sense whatsoever.
You know, have you actually followed Trump in his speech? He can't stay on topic for more than 5 minutes unless he's actually ranting about somebody.
You want to sit here and watch a 2-hour speech with him for me, and I guarantee you can't point out one moment that he was incoherent, except for a clip that you saw, a 10-minute part of it.
But he doesn't. The only thing he's coherent about is hate.
What hate? Tell me the hate.
He fucking hates anybody who's not him, dude.
You can't give me an example though.
Okay,
not one.
All right. Okay.
Do you understand why we have a problem when we're talking like this? I'm willing to pull up videos for you. I'm willing to show you evidence. I'm willing to show you facts from actual government websites, from the websites that the Democrats created themselves, like Act Blue. Billions of dollars stolen, just gone. Where'd it go? Where's the other $60 billion that we sent to Ukraine? Ukraine can't tell us what they did with it. Where's it at? What happened to it?
They spent it on support for the war.
No, they didn't. Do you not see the videos in Ukraine of these people going around and just throwing fucking cash in the streets? Do you not see those videos?
No.
That's crazy, because these women are going around literally laughing at us and saying, ha ha ha, and throwing cash in the streets.
Do you believe that what Russia's doing in Ukraine is right? Do you believe we shouldn't support them with
Absolutely not. Ukraine's not our ally.
Of course they are.
No, they're not. We have no embargo with Ukraine whatsoever. None.
They are our ally.
They're not a part of NATO. No, they're not.
It doesn't matter. They're still our ally.
They're not our ally. Never have been.
They try to be in NATO.
They canceled their elections because the guy couldn't win, and they fucking kill their people. They throw them in cars and force them to go to the war. It's crazy, bro. Okay, I know 1,000 people here from Ukraine. Everyone will tell you Ukraine's an evil fucking place. Every one of them. Do you know that 92% of the places that Russia has taken over wants to be part of Russia again?
Do you believe Putin is right?
No, I don't. I believe Putin is an evil piece of shit. But I also believe from who he was when he was in the KGB and who he is now after the near-death experience are two completely different people. He was a much more savage person in the 90s than he is right now. You know what I'm saying? He's the only one standing up on the news right now. When Zelensky's telling us to go fuck ourselves, that he'll make America collapse if we don't give him $60 billion, which he said on our fucking soil to our president, he should have been fucking shot in the face right then and there. He threatened to collapse America if we didn't give them fucking money. Are you kidding me?
Do that.
When Vance and him were sitting there, he said, oh, then we're going to make so many problems for America and we'll just get the money from everywhere else. That's crazy, bro. And you know what Vladimir Putin did?
He probably said that in anger because of what they said to him.
Putin was willing to have peace talks. Zelensky got pissed off and said no peace talks.
Yeah, because Trump told him that he was not going to get the land back that Russia stole from him.
He shouldn't.
Of course he should.
Why? Tell me
Because
why.
they fucking invaded. If we got invaded by Canada and they took 100 miles.
Do you understand that Russia's
let me finish.
main trade port is there?
Answer my question. If Canada, I know they wouldn't, but if they invaded us, and here's the line, they come in and they get 100 miles below our border, and the war becomes a stalemate. Do you think that we should just give it to them to get to stop the war?
So you do realize that was Russia for the majority of its lifetime.
Yeah, but not anymore.
You do understand that?
No.
You do understand that the majority of those provinces that he took over want to be back with Russia.
USSR.
They voted to be back with Russia.
Not them.
They did.
And
tell me what
the Crimean Peninsula
Kiev.
likes being under Russia.
We can talk about Kiev.
Right.
We talk about Kiev, right? Kiev unilaterally, 92% of the country voted, and they ended the elections in fucking Ukraine. That's why Zelensky ended the elections, because 92% of that town voted to be back part, because the most of them are Russia. They never left. They stayed there. You know what I'm saying? You do understand that Ukraine they're all Russians, right?
Let me go back to Russia.
There's no difference between Ukrainians and Russians.
So if
they're Russians.
if I wanted to be part of Canada, living in Massachusetts,
you do understand the significance of Kiev,
If I wanted
right?
to be part of Canada, living in Massachusetts, and I sent out a petition, and we got 25% of Massachusetts to say, yeah, we want to be part of Canada. Do you think for a second that the country is going to secede in Massachusetts to Canada? Of course not. It's the same fucking thing. They're a sovereign nation.
Do you know why? Do you know why Ukraine's not a sovereign nation? But do you know why?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, where's their army at? Where's their?
They have an army.
Where's their sovereign army? Where?
They're fighting the Russians. They're in the fields. They're in the streets. They're in the woods.
They have an army. Where's that now?
It's all over. It's all over the border. It's all over every place Russia's trying to take over their country.
Is it? Are you
Yeah.
sure about that?
Dude, I see it every day.
Do you? Have you been to Ukraine and saw
not.
it?
Have you?
Yes.
Okay.
Twice.
Who's fighting the Russians?
Who's fighting the Russians?
Yeah.
We are. A lot of us.
No, we're not.
Do you not know about the 178 American Army Rangers that are in Ukraine right now? 3rd Battalion, 75th Rangers, 2nd Battalion, 2nd Battalion, 75th Unit.
As trainers.
We all. Listen. Do you not understand the fact that Russia can't use the equipment? We have to. Russia can't. They don't know how to use our equipment.
Ukrainians. Ukrainians.
The Ukrainians don't know how to use our equipment. They have no clue.
Yeah, we have to train them. You have to teach them how to do
that
it.
That takes years. So who's using the equipment until then? We are. What about all of the mercenaries that have left from America to go over there?
That's different. That's
they're now being, they're Americans.
It's a whole different ball of wax. That's a paid fighter.
The Canadians that are over there, the French that are over there, the British that are over there.
Those are mercenaries.
It's not just, exactly, it's not.
Those are paid. No, granted, every soldier, at least in our country, is paid. But those are people who get paid a lot of money to go over there and
do you know what sovereign means?
No, what is sovereign?
Authority under God. That's what the word sovereign means. You have authority under God.
But okay.
That's the problem. That's the problem we have. Because you have to get your morals and values from somewhere, and they're definitely not coming from the Church of Satan like the government's doing.
When I was growing up, I was Episcopalian, right? But as a teenager, I started asking questions that nobody could answer satisfactorily to me, right? So it's like, okay, well, I believe in science. Now, the fact that I am not a God-fearing person, I have a real problem with that phrase, by the way. The fact that I'm not a God-fearing person doesn't mean I'm not a good person.
Should fear God.
If I
should fear God. Absolutely.
If I don't like the guy in the mirror, then it's my job to fix it. It's the same thing with you. If you don't like the guy,
that's why God gave us free will, is so we can fix ourselves.
Yeah.
And stay loyal and keep our faith in Him, though. And in Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior.
I've heard these arguments before.
But man, you have no clue how much of that anger and that just, you have no clue how much lighter you'll be happy. I've smiled the whole time we've been talking, you know what I mean?
No,
I'm happy. I don't get angry. Listen, these people have shot me. I don't feel bad for them. I feel sorry for them. And I feel sorry for people that are so angry that I'm not allowed to have my own political views. That's crazy.
I think you should have.
I mean, that's crazy. I've been shot for my political views. I've had my whole life. I'm living in my fucking truck right now. I went from having a 4-bedroom house, 3 different businesses, to being vandalized and attacked at a point that I just lost my place 4 days ago because they called bomb threats in and threatened to kill the family of my landlord. So now I no longer have a place to live. You know what I mean? I get attacked on a weekly, daily basis. I won't talk to my family right now because they were threatening my baby nieces and nephews. They were threatening to rape and kill them. And I've got this all in text. I can show it all to you. They burnt my RV to the fucking ground. That's what that big thing on top of my dog's head is. She got burnt. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I've been shot 3 times by a .22 at a pro-Palestine rally. And don't get me started on Queers for Palestine. Don't even get me started on that shit because they murdered them the moment they went over there. It's fucking crazy.
What's your stance on that one?
What's my stance on that?
Yeah, Israel.
Queers for Palestine? Yeah. Israel and Palestine? Well, let's see, I've been all over the Middle East. That was my jam when I was in the military. Yeah. Okay? And those people fucking hate us. Okay? Of course they do. After 9/11, 92,000 people went into the middle of the streets of Gaza and cheered that the Americans were killed. After October 7th, 60% of their country was in the streets cheering for it and parading dead bodies around the country. Okay? You come into our country and you slaughter people at a festival like that, you're probably just going to nuke your whole fucking country. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to take it easy on you for 9 months. Everybody's like, this was a genocide. And people don't understand what a genocide is. 52 million Jews killed. That's a fucking genocide. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I agree.
When people call you a racist just because of your political views, that dumbs down the actual white supremacists that are out here that say the N-word and say they hate these people. But it's gotten so bad. They call my dog racist because she's a white dog, man. Are you kidding me? They've literally yelled at my dog and called her a racist. A black lady kicked my dog at Wawa down here because she's a racist because she's white. There's no logic when you have you ever read, Karl Marx is?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to pick up a copy of the Marxist Dictionary. Okay, it'll change your life forever. When you read that Marxist dictionary and you read his statements in that, and then you look around America, it's going to change your entire worldview. I guarantee it. Because you'll see, holy fuck, these people are trying to turn this into a communist country. Because we're not you understand, we're not a democracy. You understand that, right? We're a constitutional republic. Right. If they wanted to...
But we're run with democratic values.
Democratic and democracy are 2 completely different things. Democracy is 100% majority rules. No checks and balances, no judges, none of that shit. So if they want to try a democracy, let's do it for 6 months. Do you understand, under a democracy, the majority of the country can vote to kick the rest of you the fuck out, right? That's a democracy. So in a democracy, whoever the most people that come together and say they want something is, that's now what happens. That's democracy. Socialism is democracy. And then it evolves into communism, and then the largest killer of people on the planet is communism. 150 billion people have died under communism throughout time.
I agree, communism is evil.
So this used to say stop communists. And then, I mean, obviously you can look at my truck. I can show you pictures of what it looked like before. It was immaculate. Nothing wrong. They've sprayed carburetor cleaner all over it. You can see my paint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These people have cost me $2.4 million. I went from working all of my life and saving every penny I ever wanted so I can retire by the time I'm 48 years old, to now starting right the back over. But you know what? I'm not complaining, because I do it all over again. I'll fight for my country until these people kill me. Do you understand? I'll fight. If you want to be violent, there's no reason to be violent. We have to be able to agree to. The moment we stop talking like we're doing right now, it's over. That's it.
So I got to tell you. So I'm sure. I don't know if you do Facebook or anything like that anymore.
I do now. I just got back on. I've been banned for years.
So I am quite vocal, okay, about my beliefs. Right. Most of my Marine Corps buddies absolutely vehemently disagree with me, and a lot of my old customers and some of my friends, and I have friends that have unfriended all their ex-Republican friends, or all their Republican ex-friends, I should say.
There's plenty of room for all of us in this country, man.
I agree. I wouldn't. I did unfriend one person because of the way they talk.
As a matter of fact, I tell the people that hate me, I'm like, follow me, please. You give me views. You know, I'm like, you people give me more views than my own people do. I said, but the sad fact, and here's how people say we're.
And that's why the first thing I walked up to you, the first thing I said to you was, "Is this for show, or do you want to talk?" And you said, "I invite conversation."
Absolutely, always. If I didn't want conversation, my truck wouldn't look like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I didn't want people like, can I take videos of it? I'm like, this is America. You can take video whatever the fuck you want. Just don't walk in my private home and take a video of me unless I tell you can. Other than that, anyway, anything you can see from public, you can video from public. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is, where it is. Okay, that's why people have to create an expectation of privacy. We have a First Amendment right. Okay, already, right now, we no longer have a constitution simply because all gun laws are illegal. The Second Amendment makes it very clear, shall not be infringed. Do you know what the word infringe means? A right to be taken. Okay. That's the literal definition. Shall not take this right. The Second Amendment is the only clause in the entire Constitution that does not have an amendment clause to it. We were never supposed to be able to amend the amendment clause, the Second Amendment, at all. There's no amendment clause. Every other piece of the Constitution has an amendment clause in it. But unconstitutionally, politicians and the government, now this I do believe, we must break down the government completely and start the fuck over.
So I believe that lifetime politicians are an absolute nightmare.
Term limits, 100%. Right? Congress term limits. It's not supposed to be, but we have to. At this point, the way things have gone.
I think 12 years on Congress.
Like, look at Chuck Schumer. They're rolling him in a fucking wheelchair while he's having a stroke and shit in his pants, bro. That's crazy. That's the craziest. Nadler. Look at Nadler. Motherfucker, literally, like a drunk turtle. He's no clue what's going on. He's just sitting there. Sir, are you okay? Sir, are you okay? No respect. He's literally having a stroke on stage. Nothing done about it. Was it Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Was she the one that was in the fucking... She came back? You've been gone for 4 years. Oh, I've been here the whole time. What the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? It's like, this is crazy, man. It's getting insane, but I mean...
So if you want... let's pick on the Supreme Court for a second, all right? We've got corruption in the Supreme Court.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And
the only job of the Supreme Court in any law... You know how we fix the country? We fix law enforcement. Because it doesn't matter what corruption the government places, if there's no enforcement arm to protect it, then there's nothing that can be done.
Right.
If the cops understand their only job is to enforce the Constitution to the letter, they're not an authority over the people, they're public... I don't give a shit. They're public servants, and they're only here to look out for the people and help the people. They work for us. Our tax dollars pay their job. And they're like, well, we pay taxes with our taxes. You pay taxes with my taxes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So no, you don't really pay taxes. I pay your taxes because you're paying it with my taxes.
Right.
So the amount of money that we could be helping this country with just from the bus that they've created in this town in the past 5 months is insane. Okay, we have a sheriff that marched with Black Lives Matter and glorified him as heroes that is now putting his name on the side of the cop cars instead of protect and serve, instead of sheriff. It just says Sheriff William Pamell, like he's gonna be our sheriff forever. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen no shit like that in my fucking life. You know what I mean?
If he wants to put it on his car,
huh?
If he wants to put that on his own,
absolutely
own
on his own cruiser, but
that's
not
fine.
My tax dollars paid for. You know how much those paint jobs cost? They pay fucking. Oh, that's another thing. Did you see the Kennedy the whole not JFK RFK, but did you see the whole is it Tim Kennedy or the senator the real Southern senator?
Yeah, the Republican guy from Louisiana or something like that.
Did you see when he was coming up with, he came up with that big packet from Elon Musk, he brought out the bag of bolts, did you see that?
No.
Our government paid $92,000 for a bag of 30 fucking bolts, washers and bolts. $90,000, bro.
The same as the $25,000 toilet seat.
The $25,000 fucking toilet seat,
right.
you know? I mean, at least people have to be able to admit our president didn't take a fucking paycheck. You know what I'm saying? He's got money. He's not doing this for the money.
He's making money elsewhere.
Where?
Government contract.
He dropped his holdings in all of Trump's stuff. His son's running all of it.
No, he put it all in a trust.
They put it on his son's name. His son's running everything.
Yeah, he put it in a trust. He still owns it.
He still owns it, absolutely. But he was already a billionaire beforehand. You can't make much more off of that.
What about that Bitcoin thing that he started? $2 billion, right? And hold on, and the biggest investors get to come through the White House.
Bitcoin thing?
He's got his own Bitcoin.
Doge. That's Elon Musk's.
No.
Dogecoin.
No.
The Truth Social token, you mean?
No.
Because just when Truth Social went public alone, he made $4.2 billion off of that from the stock raising.
I think Trump's a hawker.
We live in a capitalist country. That's what we do, is we make money. But he's made no money off of the presidency. You know what I mean? He didn't even take the pension. They just talked to him about that the other day. He showed him the paperwork. He didn't even take the pension. That's why I want to send you some stuff. I want to send you the full videos. I have all of them.
Yeah, they call it the Trump coin.
You're talking about the coin, right? Looks like a quarter coin.
Not a token. No, he's got his own. What is it? What's Bitcoin? They call it. There's a whole bunch.
It's cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
He's got his own cryptocurrency.
Good. I'm gonna have my own cryptocurrency. You can have your own cryptocurrency. Anybody can start a cryptocurrency.
It's his. He's profiting off of being a president.
No, he's not. He was the most famous man on the planet long before he became the president. But his reputation's got nothing to do with being the president.
He sells sneakers. He sells Bibles. He sells. What a fucking circus hawker.
It's under his. The Trump name was already the biggest brand on the planet long before he was the president, though.
He doesn't get to do that when he's president.
Yes, he does. Why not? Obama made $87 million while he was president off of books for Obama. Every president makes money off being a president. You don't make shit. You make $450,000 a year to work 24 hours a day, basically. You know what I mean? That's not shit. You make $450,000 a year to have nuclear codes. That ain't shit. And he's not even taking that. You know what I mean? And he's not taking the pension. You guys got to stop getting mad because people are telling you to get mad. If you could start your own cryptocurrency right now and make billions of dollars off of it, you would.
Sure I would.
Absolutely.
But I'm not the president.
So would I. But if you were the president, you still would. Yeah, you would. Come on, I would.
No.
I would right now.
No.
We live in a capitalist country.
No,
we don't live in a communist
optics
country.
Matter.
That's not what optics
matter.
Listen, if he wasn't, okay. Look at it like this.
Puppy, by the way?
Well, she's always good. She's never been away from me in 11
How old is
years.
she?
11.
11 years.
Yeah, never been away from me in 11 years. But listen, if you got to look at it like this, then, if he wasn't already the most famous brand on the planet, he already had his own steak company. He already had Trump hats before the presidency.
Yeah.
He had Trump shirts before the presidency. He's not doing any of this because he's the president. Now he's the president, so when he sells a Trump shirt, it's a political thing. But he already had all of this merchandise. I have bottles of Trump water from when I went to Mar-a-Lago and played golf 15 years ago.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Long before he was thinking about running for politics. So we gotta stop getting angry about stupid shit and understand that his first term was one of the best Congress we've seen in a long fucking time. Everybody's got to admit that.
So let me ask you this.
We had $1.78 gas in this town.
Do you disagree that he took over a thriving economy in 2016?
From Obama? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
unemployment was like 2.5%.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it
Under
was.
Obama, it was 6.8% when he got out of office. What are you talking about?
No,
It was 4.2% when Trump got out.
When Obama took over, he took over from Bush. Okay,
Yeah, Bush
It
was a
fucking
shitbag.
nightmare.
Bush was a shitbag.
Obama's economy was a thriving economy.
No, it wasn't.
Trump took it. He didn't fuck it up.
Find me one person that'll say that.
Until COVID.
Find me one person that'll say we had a booming economy under
Anybody
Obama.
who doesn't love Trump will say that.
I've never heard. Bill Maher was just talking about how horrible Obama was the other day. Democrats talk about how horrible Obama's economy was all the time. You know, and not only that, but he killed American citizens in drone
Those are
strikes.
Trumpers that say
Abdul Lakhmani and his father were American citizens. He killed them in drone strikes, and he's not in prison for that. He admitted after he left the presidency he was born in fucking Kenya. We had a foreigner as a president of our country.
He never admitted that.
Yes, he did.
Oh my God, buddy. Oh my God,
I'm gonna pull up
buddy.
video for you. I'm pulling video for you. I'm pulling.